Remember that heart-pounding Christmas Eve moment when you swore you heard reindeer hooves on the roof and peeked out the window expecting Santa? Only to spot your dad in a suspiciously red jacket wrestling with a bike in the driveway? Yeah, turns out pretty much everything. We were told about Christmas as kids was a total scam, cooked up by parents, Hallmark, and sneaky marketers. Today, we're ripping the tinsel off 25 of the dumbest, most shocking Christmas myths you still secretly believe. And trust us, by the end, your childhood holiday magic is going to be deader than that fruitcake nobody eats. Buckle up because the truth is about to hit harder than Aunt Karen after 3 eggnogs. 1. Americans grow up fully convinced that Santa Claus lives at the North Pole, running a massive workshop on solid land with elves on payroll. That belief never survives a quick geography check. The North Pole is not a town, a country, or even land at all. It is floating ice that drifts around the Arctic Ocean. Scientists camp there briefly and then leave before freezing solid. Yet kids imagined Santa owning property there for generations. Early American cartoons and holiday ads loved the idea because it sounded remote and untraceable. Parents repeated it because no child could ever visit. Teachers ignored it to keep peace. Santa became a magical ice squatter who somehow built factories on water. The myth stuck because maps were boring and imagination was louder every December. 2. Every Christmas season, an American confidently announces that Coca-Cola invented Santa's red suit, usually during dinner while holding a soda. History immediately disagrees. Santa was already wearing red in the early 1800s, long before billboards and Super Bowls. American artist Thomas Nast drew Santa as a round, cheerful gift hoarder decades earlier. Department stores loved the look and copied it everywhere. Coca-Cola arrived later and simply blasted Santa into everyone's face with bigger ads and brighter smiles. They did not invent him. They just put him on a corporate glow-up. Americans blame Coke because it feels satisfying to hate big brands. Kids accepted it. Parents never corrected it. Santa survived another myth. The red suit stayed because it already worked too well to change. 3. Many Americans assume Jesus was born on December 25th because calendars say so and nativity scenes repeat it every year. Historians quietly shake their heads. Early Christian leaders picked that date centuries later. Winter festivals were already popular and loud. Pagan parties filled December with fire and feasting. Church leaders decided it was smarter to merge than compete, so they placed Jesus into an existing celebration window. Shepherds in the Bible were watching sheep outdoors, which suggests spring. No one corrected the date because tradition felt warmer than accuracy. Over time, Americans accepted it as fact. Kids sang songs, parents baked cookies, the calendar won. Christmas became a holy remix album. The truth is less magical but very human. It shows how religion and marketing teamed up long before malls existed. 4. Americans picture 3 wise men because school plays always cast exactly 3 kids with fake beards. The Bible never gives a number. It only lists 3 gifts. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh sounded like a trio, so people assumed 3 dudes. In reality, it could have been a crowd. Historians suggest a traveling group with servants, animals, and supplies. Imagine a small parade showing up instead of 3 polite visitors. That version was messier and harder to stage. Churches simplified it for storytelling. Teachers followed along, kids never questioned it. The myth stuck because humans love clean numbers. 3 feels complete and tidy. A whole caravan ruins the vibe. So America stuck with 3 wise men forever and never checked the footnotes. 5. Nativity scenes show the wise men hanging out at the manger like they arrived on time. The Bible tells a different story. They showed up much later, possibly months or even years later. By then, Mary and Joseph were living in a house. No straw, no animals, no dramatic baby reveal. Artists ignored that detail because it ruined the visual symmetry. Churches wanted everyone together in one scene. Americans love efficiency. One moment, one snapshot. History got squished to fit a decoration set. Kids grew up thinking everyone arrived simultaneously like a surprise party. The truth is awkward and delayed. The wise men missed the birth. They showed up late with expensive gifts and zero awareness. History was edited for aesthetics and convenience. 6. Mary riding a donkey to Bethlehem feels locked into American brains. Christmas cards repeated endlessly. The Bible never mentions a donkey. There is no animal specified at all. She may have walked the entire distance while pregnant. That journey would have been exhausting and uncomfortable. Artists added the donkey later to soften the story. A walking pregnant woman felt too real. A donkey felt kinder. Americans embraced it because it looked gentle and pastoral. Churches nodded. Movies copied it. The donkey became canon without permission. Mary became tougher in reality than in art. The truth removes the cute animal but adds serious respect. History did not need extra props. It was already intense enough without a four-legged upgrade. 7. Jingle bells blast through American malls every December without anyone noticing the lyrics. It was not written for Christmas at all. It was written for Thanksgiving. The song is about sleigh racing and crashing into snowbanks. No Santa, no Jesus, no holiday meaning. Just loud dudes speeding on snow and flipping over. It became a Christmas song because it sounded wintry and catchy. Choirs adopted it. Schools repeated it. Radio stations locked it in. Americans never questioned it because bells equal Christmas in their minds. The song slipped into tradition accidentally. It stayed because it was fun and loud. History watched silently as a Thanksgiving tune hijacked December forever. 8. Santa sliding down chimneys feels ancient and unquestionable. That idea came from one poem written in 1823. Before that, Santa entered through doors like a normal visitor. One poem changed everything. Parents loved it because it sounded magical and sneaky. Kids accepted it immediately. No one questioned the logic of a large man fitting through fireplaces. Chimneys became Santa highways overnight. American homes adapted the story even when fireplaces disappeared. Apartments made no sense, but tradition pushed forward. Santa became a soot-covered magician thanks to poetry. The myth survived because it was whimsical and weird. Doors were boring. Chimneys felt special. History bent to rhyme scheme and imagination won easily. 9. Poinsettias have terrified American parents for decades. People swear they are deadly poisonous. That belief came from a fake news story decades ago. One article claimed a child died after eating leaves. It was not true. The plant is mildly irritating at worst. Pets might vomit. No one is dropping dead under the tree. The myth spread faster than corrections. Doctors rolled their eyes. Florists suffered. Parents panicked every December. Americans trusted the rumor because it sounded responsible. Better safe than sorry, it became tradition. Poinsettias became festive villains without evidence. The truth removes fear but keeps the drama. History shows how one bad article ruined a plant's reputation nationwide. 10. The Christmas pickle ornament gets called an ancient German tradition every year. Most Germans have no idea what it is. The tradition was invented in America to sell ornaments in the late 1800s. Someone made up a story and Americans ran with it. Families began hiding pickles on trees and acting like it was heritage. Germans stayed confused. Marketing won quietly. The pickle survived because it was weird and fun. Kids loved the game. Parents loved the story. No one checked Germany. The myth grew roots in American living rooms. A fake tradition became real through repetition. History watched as a vegetable ornament achieved cultural success without permission or paperwork. 11. Americans believe Rudolph's nose glows like a biological flashlight powered by Christmas magic. That idea did not exist before 1939. A department store created Rudolph for a holiday booklet meant to sell toys. The glowing nose was added to make him special and marketable. Real reindeer noses do turn red because of cold and blood flow. They do not light up the Arctic like emergency beacons. Kids never questioned it. Parents never corrected it. Rudolph became a bullied underdog hero overnight. The story stuck because Americans love rooting for misfits. Science stayed quiet. Marketing took over. A fictional reindeer gained medical superpowers without peer review. History shows Rudolph was less miracle and more mall advertising with hooves. 12. Candy canes are constantly explained as secret religious symbols in American churches. The shape is said to represent Jesus. The colors are said to represent blood and purity. None of that is original. Candy canes started as straight sugar sticks. They were bent so they could hang on Christmas trees without falling. That was the entire innovation. Religious meaning was added much later by people who felt candy needed depth. Kids nodded. Adults repeated it proudly. No one checked records. Candy makers just wanted practical hooks. The myth survived because symbolism feels smarter than sugar logistics. History reminds everyone that sometimes candy is just candy and not a theology lesson disguised as dessert. 13. Eggnog feels ancient and wholesome to Americans sipping it once a year. Its roots are actually rich British drinking culture. Early versions were fancy hot milk punches enjoyed by elites. When the drink crossed the Atlantic, Americans replaced expensive alcohol with cheap rum. The drink became stronger and sloppier. Taverns loved it. Chaos followed. Eggnog turned into a holiday survival challenge. People kept drinking it out of tradition, not taste. The myth of elegance stuck. Americans still pretend it is cozy and refined. History says it was always about getting through winter with alcohol. The nutmeg was just decoration for bad decisions made in sweaters. 14. Fruitcake is treated like a joke food that accidentally survives holidays. In reality, it was designed to last forever. Alcohol-soaked fruit preserves it for months or years. Sailors carried it. Soldiers stored it. Families reused it. The joke is not that it tastes bad. The joke is that it refuses to expire. Americans regift fruitcake because it feels immortal. No one remembers who bought it first. It becomes a family legend. The myth that fruitcake should be fresh makes people disappointed every year. History shows it was survival food disguised as dessert. The brick texture was a feature, not a flaw. 15. Mistletoe kissing feels sweet and romantic in American movies. Ancient cultures saw it very differently. Druids believed mistletoe had magical powers that protected against evil. Norse mythology involved mistletoe being used as a deadly weapon. Romance was not the original plan. Over time, kissing replaced superstition. Americans embraced it because danger slowly turned flirty. Couples laugh under it now. History watches quietly. The plant is mildly poisonous and historically terrifying. Yet it hangs above doorways as an invitation. The myth survives because humans like risky traditions softened by time and hallmark lighting. 16. Santa's reindeer are always described as male in American songs and stories. Biology ruins that assumption. Male reindeer lose their antlers in winter. Female reindeer keep theirs. Santa's sleigh happens in winter. That means the antlered team pulling him was female. The realization shocks uncles every year. Songs never updated. Cartoons ignored science. Kids learned wrong by repetition. History proves Santa ran a sleigh powered by hard-working lady reindeer. The myth stayed because no one wanted to rewrite lyrics. Biology does not care about tradition. The sleigh still flies either way. 17. Many Americans think writing Xmas removes Christ from Christmas. That belief causes annual arguments. The X actually comes from the Greek letter chi, which means Christ. Early Christians used it constantly. The abbreviation is older than most traditions. People forgot the origin and got mad anyway. The myth spread through misunderstanding, not malice. Teachers explain it every year. Social media ignores it. History shows Xmas was once considered respectful and scholarly. The outrage is modern. Americans accidentally argue against ancient Christian shorthand while thinking they are defending tradition. 18. Silent Night is imagined with angels singing loudly above the fields. The Bible never says that happened. Angels delivered a message and left. No choir, no soundtrack. The song added drama centuries later. Nativity scenes followed the song, not scripture. Americans prefer musical moments. Silence felt awkward. The myth stayed because singing angels look better in plays. History was quieter and less cinematic. The song rewrote the scene permanently. Now, silence feels wrong, even though it was accurate. 19. Christmas stockings are said to come from Santa secretly dropping gold coins into shoes. That legend exists but explains very little. The real reason stockings stuck is simple. People wanted more places to put gifts. Hanging socks was convenient. No philosophy required. Americans love sentimental backstories, so the gold story spread. Kids smiled, parents nodded. Practicality was ignored. History shows many traditions survive because they are useful first and meaningful later. The stocking was storage before symbolism. 20. Elf on the Shelf is treated like an ancient family tradition by many Americans. It was invented in 2005 for a children's book. That makes it younger than YouTube. Parents adopted it fast because it kept kids in line. The elf became a surveillance mascot overnight. Families claimed it was always part of childhood. History disagrees strongly. The myth formed in under 2 decades. Marketing worked perfectly. The elf watches. Kids behave. Adults lie about tradition. History shrugs. 21. Americans often repeat that suicide rates skyrocket during Christmas because the holidays are depressing. Data quietly proves the opposite. In the United States, suicide rates are actually lowest during December. Families gather, routines change, people are less isolated. The myth spread because sad stories get more attention than statistics. News segments repeated it every year. Viewers absorbed it. Teachers mentioned it carefully. The belief stuck without evidence. History shows feelings and facts drifted apart. The holidays are stressful, but not the peak danger moment people imagine. The myth survives because it sounds compassionate and serious. Reality is calmer and less dramatic. Numbers never went viral. Fear did. 22. The Little Drummer Boy feels biblical to Americans because it plays constantly every December. The Bible contains 0 drummers at the Nativity. No kid shows up with percussion. The song was written in the 1940s. It became popular because it was emotional and simple. Churches adopted it. Plays included it. Kids memorized it. History got rewritten through melody. Americans assumed it was ancient because it felt traditional. Pa rum pum 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 became canon by repetition. The myth stuck because songs bypass logic. Once something sounds old, it becomes old. History lost to a catchy rhythm and yearly replay. 23. Advent calendars are treated like chocolate countdown machines starting December 1st and ending Christmas morning. That is a modern invention. Original Advent calendars were just chalk marks or paper windows. Chocolate came later. The countdown traditionally ended on December 24th, not 25th. Americans extended it because more chocolate felt correct. Candy companies agreed instantly. Kids never complained. Parents pretended it was always this way. History shows patience was once the lesson. Now, sugar replaced waiting. The myth stuck because snacks are persuasive. Tradition adjusted quietly to appetite. 24. Boxing Day confuses Americans every year. Many think it involves fighting or boxing up gifts. The name actually comes from giving boxes to servants and workers the day after Christmas. Employers handed out food and money. No punches were thrown, no returns were filed. The meaning faded as class structures changed. Americans guessed instead of researching. The myth stayed because the name sounds aggressive. History was charitable and practical. Boxing Day lost context and gained confusion across the Atlantic. 25. Coal for naughty kids sounds like a cruel punishment today. In Victorian times, coal was valuable fuel. Giving coal meant warmth and survival. Bad kids were accidentally rewarded. The threat worked when parents were dramatic. Kids today just get confused. The myth survived because tradition never updates threats. Coal became symbolic instead of useful. History shows punishment aged badly. Santa's warning lost logic. The naughty list became comedy. Coal went from luxury to joke without explanation. And just like that, the tinsel is gone, the myths are exposed, and Christmas suddenly feels a little less magical and a lot more awkward. Turns out half the traditions Americans defend every December were invented by artists, marketers, songwriters, or someone just guessing confidently a long time ago. Santa is homeless, the wise men were late, the elf is a corporate spy, and history has been quietly screaming the truth this whole time. If this video ruined at least one holiday argument for you, that's a win. Hit the like button so the algorithm knows the truth deserves gifts too. Subscribe to Dumb History for more myths that never should have survived. Now be honest, which Christmas lie did you believe until right now? And which one are you still refusing to let go of?